So, I'm. I don't even know where to start. Um, I'm trying to write a game show for the Art of Creation, my animated TV series. We're going to call it Save My Soul. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the latest episode of Save My Soul. Everyone in the audience saying it, and the three contestants clapping and cheering. But it's a game show where they're fighting not to go to hell. they have to basically win not being sent to hell. If they win, they don't go to hell. We tossed up the idea because obviously this is a comedy show. And there's so many things about the paranormal and supernatural and God and Satan and all of that and religion and that I could write decades of comedy off, especially with the connection that I have with, the above worlds and underworlds and all of that. So we decided to come up with a game show. We've been working on the concept for quite a few months now. It's just I hadn't found anything to fit because you would kind of think that Grim Rapier, who is our news anchor, hi, I'm Grim Rapier, and this is GNN Newsflash, that kind of guy. That's Grim Rapier. And he just seemed too obvious. So then I thought, well, what about God? But the thing is with God, or the God that I know, is that he's very sarcastic. Like he has a brilliant sense of humor because, I mean, he invented feet and men's body parts, and, but they, I don't understand why they look the way they do, but, I'm not God, so I'm not going to question it. But knowing him the way that I do, um, as a game show host, I think he would be too serious and he would be more likely to be talked into forgiving the sinners, which is why we need Satan, because God is a lot more forgiving than Satan is. So when God is angry, he turns into Satan, right? So we need our dual natures. It is so important in evolution that we know the balance between light and dark and good and evil, and never step over the boundaries of taking either for granted, because you fear the consequences of karmic retribution, and we're in this for dharma, not karma. We're supposed to be here getting it right this time round so that we don't have lives full of karmic debt and retribution. Excuse me, I've just been scoffing gluten-free Rice Krispies. But I can't stop, like I'm in my creative flow. So the game show, Save My Soul. We're going to have just, we're coming up with the most funny contestants. And I just think that Satan would be funny, because the thing is with Satan is that, if you know anything about Capricorn or the devil in the tarot, Satan rules draconian law, and draconian law is that you do not deviate from the letter of the law. You cannot get anything wrong with Satan, because then that's when he comes in and, takes you down, teaches you a lesson. You cannot barter with Satan. Once you get to the point where you meet Satan, it is the point of no return, sort of thing. So if any of the contestants try to be cute or try to fake answers or anything like that, if they don't play by the rules, he's going to get hysterical, and that's where we can bring the comedy in, because he basically turns into like a big pie throwing tantrumatic sort of hysterical girl, basically. When people frustrate him when it comes to the deviations of like karmic laws and universal law, and that God wrote those laws with Satan to keep people in check. And because I'm trying to teach people, the fundamental process of human evolution and why we're here this time round and what we've got to do right and do wrong, The Art of Creation, my animated TV series, which is named after the foundation, that we will be building, for the kids and that. I call it the Art of Creation Foundation, but we call it the Foundation for short. We need to teach people in a way where they don't feel like they're being preached at. And because, I like to make people laugh and I'm a writer and all of that, like I've been able to write mythology and religion and theology and philosophy in that and the occult in a way that makes it fun to learn. It makes people want to learn. It draws them in and it's teaching them. And by teaching people a different way to see these things, because as I keep saying, there's only about 30% of the Bible that is actually true to God's word, that he actually, backs and supports in that. So, I need to be able to do this in a way that appeals to everybody. And the easiest way to learn is through humor. So, one of the things that people remember with game shows is the theme tune, or the game show music, which is why it's so important that I get this right. So how on earth do you write a theme tune for a game show where Satan is the host and the contestants are fighting not to go to hell? That's what I'm trying to come up with. See, I'm a lyricist, I'm a writer, so when it comes to the words, that's me, but when it comes to the music, not so much. So, and then of course, all our animators in that at the foundation will be making the cartoons, and any of the kids that want to get into animation or, the music side of it or broadcasting or anything like that, we're going to make sure we've got it all there for them. So, yeah, I keep hearing in my head, how do you solve a problem like Maria? That tune from Sound of Music, but in my head it's how do you write a game show for Satan? I can sing better than this, by the way. It's just yeah. It's I'm surrounded by people. I don't want to sing too loud because I don't want to draw attention to what I'm doing. So I'm yes. How do you write a game show for Satan? I've written the game show. It's the game show theme I need. Theme tune. Because, you've got that, like the do, 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 do. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows theme tunes to at least one or two game shows that they grew up with. So we could have it like a no whammy, no whammy, no whammy, no whammy, stop, where they have to, like, answer questions to, like, answer questions, fill in blanks, that sort of thing. I'm trying to be as original as I possibly can. So if we have to spin, a wheel, it's not going to be like the Wheel of Fortune that has cash prize money on it. It'll be like you're spinning the wheel and you're on the wheel, and the other contestants have to like fire bolts of lightning at you or something. I don't know. I'm still filling in the nitty gritty of it. The nitty gritty, as Shirley would say, but I'm getting there. But yeah, if I record it and put it out there, then it's going to stay in my head, and then I can start filling in all the blanks. Fill in the blanks. Fill in the blanks. Maybe that's what they have to do, fill in the blanks. But that's like blankety blank. No, that's not like blankety blank. Well, kind of is like blankety blank. He's gonna wear dashing suits. He's gonna look fabulous. We've come up with some pretty hilarious characters like Janice from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, killing men for insurance money. She does needlepoint of the crime scenes. So, but she's really good at it. So yeah, how do you write a theme tune for Satan? none of this is going to make any sense until we make the show, until we get the streaming service up, until we make the show and you actually sit and watch it properly and have access to the streaming service. It's not going to make sense. But to my sons and I, because I built a honeycomb system for my Empire and my streaming service, it makes sense to us because we know where it's all going. We know where it's all headed. Yous don't. So it's not going to make sense for now. Like, why she, if the art of creation is about, the lives and times of the employees for the Ministry of Souls, who are, immortal people living amongst mortals, and they work in this newsroom, making karmic predictions and seeing their lives and what they do behind the scenes, because it's going to be made to look like it's like a fly on the wall documentary. So it'll be like a news crew following the lives of the news network for the Ministry of Souls. So obviously we need to have snippets of things in there, and I want to have like my own commercials and stuff in there. So this is Save My Soul is going to be one of the, you're going to see Satan presenting these shows. You might only see snippets of them, or you might be able to watch the whole show. Like, that's to be decided. It depends on time and budget and money and how many people I can get on board and how many foundations I can get built and all of that. But you will have to see snippets of them. So I have to be able to come up with a few seconds of something, just enough for you to get the idea, because obviously if we're going behind the scenes of their lives and, one of them is presenting a game show, you're going to have to see him presenting that game show and getting ready before it and getting ready after it, because I have to turn all of this into storylines. And unlike animated series like sort of Family Guy and South Park, and that, while we will have cut scenes, it's not going to be so much based on, like, we're not going to focus totally 100% on the main characters, like the lives and times of Peter Griffin and, Stan Marsh and all of that, like what they're up to. There might be some episodes we do that has nothing to do with any of them until the very end. It might be the life and time of somebody who's had to be judged and going through the portal in the back of the newsroom that you'll see, and it might be their story leading up to the tiny little bit that you see of them in the back of the newsroom when they've been sent through the up or down the escalator, depending on, or elevator, depending on whether they're going to heaven, hell, purgatory, or they're being sent to be reborn again to do it all over again. So do you know what I mean? So we've come up with dozens and dozens and dozens of characters to keep it interesting, because also as well we have to cover all religions and faiths and concepts and what they believe happens to them after they die. Do they come back and do it again? Do they stay? Do they turn into gods? Like, whatever. I have to cover everything. So, and for people who aren't religious, because obviously we have to cover things like pagans and atheists and devil worshippers and all that. Like, we have to cover everything. But if you're going to teach them the right way and you want them interested, how do you do that? And it's comedy, because when people laugh, it's same with, when you laugh and you listen to music that hits the soul, you never forget it. And I need my shows to be unforgettable. I want people talking about my cartoons the same way that, I tell my kids about how I grew up watching Fat Albert. So, I want people to be like, oh my God, I loved that cartoon when I was a kid, So, yeah. So it's to understand my concept, you have to know the honeycomb system. But yes, so now I'm currently trying to think of a jingle for the game show that Satan is going to host called Save My Soul. I can't wait to get this all. I can't wait to get it all down. I can't wait to get everyone employed. I can't wait to sit in my home in whatever country that's going to be, in my recording studio, where I get to put on silly voices and all of that, and the comfort of having to work around my tummy, um, and just having these meetings and just handing out all this stuff to my writers and artists and musicians and my acting talent. I can't wait to have Zoom calls and meetings and that where we're going over script notes and I want my actors and my musicians and my artists and that to be like, hey, wouldn't it be funny if we did this instead of this? Or how about we put that there and did, it's going to be like a joint collaborative effort. But I have to be the one to feed them the information because I'm the gatekeeper and they can't get any of the magic and stuff wrong. They can introduce whatever characters and comedy concepts and that as they like, but when it comes to the supernatural stuff, that has to be me, which is why I need to have a daughter. Because when I'm dead and gone and my foundations are still going, there's only so much my boys are allowed to do when it comes to the writing and creating of the stuff that we do. There are some things, some roles, as an elemental alchemist that only females can do, that only women can do. And it has to be bloodline, like she has to have the same blood as me. So it's not that I have a daughter with the help of medicine or whatever, then only my granddaughter or granddaughters can do it. So it's getting very exciting now. It's all starting to manifest and, be drawn down from the heavens to earth now. It's all starting to pan out, and I've been writing and thinking up lyrics and characters, and my sons are so bored and sick of me. It's like, I don't have anyone to talk to because it's like they sleep a lot and I'm in a creative flow, and of course you don't want to go putting too much out there because I've already had enough problems with people stealing my identity and my work. So I need to put enough out there to attract investors and actors and musicians and future employees in that. I want people to be like, hey, oh my god, I want to be on board with this, or I've got some money, I want to invest in this. I've got the perfect place where you can build it. Like I know where there's like land for sale, or I know a great art director, or I know a great music director or whatever. I think they'd be perfect for this job. Let's do this. Let's get on board like that. So I have to put it out there because I have to be like Jean-Luc or Jean-Pierre, my anglerfish. I have to be like doing my own theme tune, hiding stealthily, while trying to catch the right prey. Although not prey, obviously, it's not prey. I have to, open my wings and hope that people look at the pretty colours on my wings and go, look at that butterfly. Chase the butterfly. Because, yeah, I keep seeing him standing there in the game show. How do you write a theme tune about Satan? Like, I mean, I've written him a musical number. He gets the whole musical number in his own movie. But I can't, every time I try and think of like jingles and tunes, I just keep going back to the ones I grew up with. And I need this to be, I mean, we're talking about Satan and House, so it can't, I mean, I want it to be all light and fluffy in a comedy way to highlight the fact that it's actually a very, very serious subject matter that we're talking about. Sin, like these are people trying to save their souls so they don't go to hell because they're sinners. So we need to turn that into a jingle where it's like light-hearted and funny, but also kind of serious and a bit. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Anyway, I'm just putting it out there.